Let's travel back in time to learn more about the Roman baths. While we're there, we can visit one of the most famous bathhouses, the Baths of Caracalla. Here we go! Woo! We made it! Before we get started, let me give you a little background information about what the baths were and why people use them.
These baths, also known as thermae, were places great for relaxation. There are a lot of rooms that were used for several different activities. It is a modern-day combination of a library, spa, gym, mall, and restaurant. These baths would always have running water, both hot and cold, which was good compared to how the rest of the world lived. Most Roman towns have at least one public bath where people go to wash, read, exercise, and talk to friends.
At this time, you did not bathe with the opposite gender. However, many people did. Emperor Hadrian, Marcus Aurelius, and Severus Alexander all banned the idea of mixed-gender bathing. Some complained about this idea, and many people ignored the law.
Women and girls did have their own apoditarium, nowadays known as changing rooms and bathhouses. However, they didn't have an exercise room because Romans thought that women shouldn't exercise. Instead, the rich wives of politicians, merchants, and businessmen spent their luxurious time at the hairdresser and beauty salon.
Businessmen and rich workers will spend their day at the baths if it's too hot to work. If they feel like relaxing, they just sit down in any pool and gossip about business and have a drink.
Even though the bathhouses did have an entrance fee, it cost very little to get in. However, the poor could not afford that, so someone with wealth could pay for you. If you were a wealthy bather, you could bring along your capsarius, a servant that would help his master undress and hold on to the clothes while you are bathing, because baths were known for their thieves and pickpockets.
After you were done bathing, your servant would use a strigil, which was used to get the dirt off you. It was a small metal tool that was used before soap was invented. First, you applied a scented oil to your skin, and then the strigil would scrape the dirt off along with the oils. If you were poor, you or a friend would do it to yourself. However, if you were more rich, your capsarius would.
Why build these baths anyway? As I said before, Romans loved to have a retreat from work and spend their afternoons talking to friends and unwind from a stressful day. Living as a Roman couldn't have been that bad. You visited your local bath daily. When he was asked by a foreigner why he bathed once a day, the emperor responded, "Because I do not have time to bathe twice a day." Well, the emperors who constructed the baths had different reasons for building them. They wanted to be known, and by building these baths, they did gain favor by the local citizens. If they were feeling really generous, they would rent out the baths and set the admission fee as a very low price, or let everyone in for free.
Now that you know a bit about these community centers, let's visit one of the most famous bathhouses, the Baths of Caracalla.
The Baths of Caracalla were built in the time frame 212 to 217 AD in Rome, Italy. This bath was first thought of by Emperor Severus in 206 AD, but was then constructed under the time of Caracalla. Caracalla felt the need to build something so that people could remember him like previous emperors. For example, Trajan's Forum, Titus's Colosseum, and Hadrian's Pantheon. To achieve his goal, it cost Rome a lot of money and time to build the biggest complex, the Baths of Caracalla. The baths were destroyed in 847 AD by an earthquake. However, they had stopped functioning in 537 due to the barbarians' destruction of the aqueduct.
That which separates this bath from others was how detailed and large it was. The Baths of Caracalla were 13 hectares long. It started on the Appian Way. The main building was 2.5 football fields long by 2 football fields wide. Wow, that's big! Currently, the remnants of this complex stands along the Aventine Avenue and the Avenue of the Baths of Caracalla. The water source for these baths was a considerably new branch off of the Aqua Marcia and the Aqua Antoninía.
Most, if not all, baths were decorated with beautiful mosaics, marble, and red brick. All the walls were covered in paintings with a lot of bright, rich colors. The walls and floors always had beautiful mosaics on them. The mosaics were made from natural stone. For example, gray granite from Egypt, yellow marble from Numidia, green veined marble from Charistus, and green and purple porphyry from Sparta and Egypt.
The baths of Caracalla had many famous marble carvings, one of them kept in the Archaeology Museum of Naples, the Toro Farnese. The Farnese bull is a sculpture that is meant to tell the myth of Lycos, the queen of Thebes. She was tied to a wild bull by the sons of Antiope, Amphion, and Zethus, who wanted to punish her for the ill treatment inflicted on their mother. The famous statue of Hercules was also kept in the same baths. Also, some of the mosaics and tiles that were beautifully grouted into the walls are still intact. The mosaics consist of many athletes that were famous or very good at their particular sports, nowadays known as the Hall of Fame. The 5 years it took him to finish the decorations displayed around the complex shows how powerfully invested Caracalla was.
After you had enjoyed your exercise in the large courtyard, the first stop was the Frigidarium, and it was cold. It was a large outdoor pool, and today it would be considered Olympic size.
Bathers who wanted to proceed to the warm baths entered the Tepidarium. There were 2 lukewarm tubs located on either side of the room. In the middle of the building was the basilica, which was supported by more pillars. Tiberius Claudius Secundus once said, "Bath, wine, and sex spoil our bodies, but bath, wine, and sex make up our lives."
After your time in the Tepidarium, you opened the door to the Caldarium. This pool was located in a circular room covered by an overhead dome. Conveniently, the dome helped support the columns. The Caldarium was meant to be a hot pool, so the dome had several windows to allow the sun to pour in and heat the pool.
Beside the sun heating the caldarium, there was an underground structure that was also helping. The hypocaust, deriving from the word hypo, meaning under, and caust, meaning Bert, was an underground heating system. There were stacks of concrete tiles that rose above the floor. In between the spaces is where the hot air would flow. Also, the slaves would provide the manpower to feed the wood into the fire and keep it heating.
Baths were spread throughout the vast Roman Empire. After he had conquered the land, the emperor would build at least one bath in that place. That is why there are many famous baths beside the baths of Caracalla. The baths of Trajan, Diocletian, and Nero are all well-known bath complexes. These social and political houses show great importance for us today. These baths were a model for practice and played a critical role in personal hygiene. We still have similar structures that were clearly based on the Roman baths. People today go to gyms and spas for similar experiences. Like Roman baths, men and women change in separate rooms. However, today both genders swim and exercise together. In addition, bathhouses still exist and are used for the same purposes: cleanliness, gossip, and exercise.
In conclusion, these baths were an extremely important part of the Roman Empire. Baths were the center of social interaction. They served nothing but good for everyone. The emperors who built them gained the fame and glory, and the people who used them enjoy a high standard of hygiene. And it was a great time to socialize with your friends. Even though they cost a fortune, it was money well spent.